Just to make you aware, I do also have a personal channel. So if you want to connect with me on a deeper level, then you can also head over to that channel to check out some of my content over there. It might not be for everyone, but there is a little bit of everything. So it's more like days in the life, spending the weekend with me, spending the day with me, traveling, hair content, skincare, beauty, pretty much everything. So if you want to get to know me better, then I will link that below, and definitely feel free to subscribe if you want to. As always, there's absolutely no pressure. I'm pretty sure I promised you all a review video. So I listened, I re-listened, and this is where I landed. Secret of the Soul. What comes to mind when you think of that name? For me, I think deep, intentional, meaningful, and that's exactly what I got from this album. For me, this album felt very personal, you know. Grandma Mary's poetry essentially shaped this, and that is such a beautiful memory of someone to be able to have and to be able to share with the world. And I know not everybody might have connected with this album in particular, but I really respected the fact that she decided to create this and to leave a mark essentially for her grandma. But also I love the fact that she's going to be able to listen back to these songs and, you know, have those memories of her grandma, as well as take something away from the songs as well. You know, I said in a few videos that these songs were ultimately life lessons, and I feel like that's just a beautiful thing to have. Staying true to herself as an artist is something that I feel that AJ does really well, and I feel like she did exactly that in this album. I have to say, AJ definitely showed us her versatility and her talent throughout this album. But I think she also reminded us that she's human too. You know, this album felt very real, very authentic, very human. And it's nice to be able to have music like that, because it's easier for us to be able to relate, connect, feel something, which ultimately is something that I want to do when I listen to music. I mean, there were themes of love, loss, pain, heartbreak. Who hasn't been through that? Who can't relate to that? Everybody in some way will be able to relate, but I also appreciate that it won't be to everybody's taste, and that's okay. As I started to get more of a feel for AJ and like her values and things like that, I definitely noticed that she is an old soul, and I think we all say that a lot in the comments, because that's definitely the sense that you get from her. You know, very caring, empathetic, all the things. And so this album being old school was just the perfect way of her committing to being herself. And I don't know about you, but when I think about things that are old, you know, it's things that are classic. It's things that are comforting in some ways, things that have experienced, things that have lived. And it just makes perfect sense why this album just felt so calming to me, so relaxing, so zen, so passionate, so vintage. It just felt like a warm hug. And one of my favorite ways of describing it that I believe one of my subscribers came up with was hammock music. And that to me is exactly what this album is. Something I've really appreciated about the album is the theme of the songs was very much old school. However, each song was different. I really like that. What's really interesting though is that quite a lot of the songs on the album felt very familiar. And I think that also ties into the old school nature of this, that comfort element of it. So listening to songs and making that connection to other artists was really beautiful for me. So, for example, Elvis, Whitney Houston, these were the vibes that I was getting. Obviously, different people might get a different vibe from it. I definitely feel like the songs on this album could be the soundtrack on a really great movie. You know, I mentioned James Bond for one of the songs, or a couple of the songs, I believe. I don't know, I would just sit and listen to them and envision it in a movie of some kind, or a really beautiful advert, you know? So I'm excited to see where these songs go. I'm obviously definitely excited to see what else is to come. I know I had my view when I was reacting to the songs on what some of my favourites were, or the ones that stood out to me the most. But I fear that might have changed now after listening to that album again, which is something you guys told me would probably happen. And I think it has. I feel like it's an album you definitely need to listen to more than once, for sure. But I would say that out of the whole of the album, there are 6 songs that stood out to me. And I will try to name them now. So Peaceful Beside You, Play No Game, Since You Walked Away, Kiss Me One Last Time, No One Can Hear My Heart, and then Tears Become an Endless Sea. I feel like those 6 for me, yeah. And I actually have a top 2. I do. So let me share those with you as well. So my top 2, I would have to say, are number 1. You might be surprised by this, but number 1 is So Peaceful Beside You. I feel like that was just the perfect way to start this album. And I don't feel like I appreciated it enough when I first listened to it. I actually looked back at my reaction to see what it was like. I did really love it, but like after listening to it again, I love it even more. And I didn't think that was possible, but I feel like it was just like a breath of fresh air to be able to listen to that as the first song before easing us into the rest of the songs. So that is definitely my number 1. And then my number 2 is No One Can Hear My Heart. I just feel like that song belongs in a James Bond movie. I absolutely love it. It was hard. I was gonna say these are like my joint, but then I had to listen to them both one last time, close my eyes and just get in it. And yeah, So Peaceful Beside You just did what it needed to do. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this album, and I'm excited to see what's next. And I know you've all been in my comments telling me what's next. So that will be the next journey. But I'd love to know what your overall thoughts are on this album. Feel free to share them if you haven't already. One last thing before I go, because I did notice something else that I wanted to share. And I could be cracking up, so it might not necessarily be a thing. When I listened to the last song on the album again, Tears Became an Endless Sea, I heard Unchained Melody. I need someone to listen to it again and tell me if I'm okay or not, because I definitely feel like I heard that. But yeah, when I say that some of these songs feel familiar, it makes me wonder whether they are incorporated, like some of her favorite songs are incorporated in this album in some way, because some of the songs I listened to and I was like, it reminds me of something. So yeah, I just wanted to say that as well. I hope you enjoyed this review of that album. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share this video with family and friends. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I will see you all soon. Peace and love.